Yeah, my friend, we are in the Gospel of Mark. We're going to start that today. Now, the Gospel of Matthew, we just got done with, introduced Jesus as born King of the Jews. But now, and of course, the Gospel message is not just for the Jews, it's for the Gentiles as well. It's for the whole world. But Jesus would reign King of Kings, but as a servant, he would die for all mankind. The Gospel of Mark is, he writes of the works and the authority of the one who came not to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom of many. We read that verse in Matthew, it's also in Mark, and it's the key to the Gospel of Mark, is that he came to die as a ransom for many, as a servant. So much of what Mark says shows what Jesus did. It goes really, really fast, kind of like a shooting script. Scene to scene to scene, miracle to miracle to miracle, healing, feeding 5,000, 4,000, what have you, walking on the sea. All the things that Jesus did just goes, and the word immediately is throughout there. It shows that it's going from one thing to another. And it just shows how the information, the memories, we believe that it was the Apostle Peter that actually is the inspiration behind it, and Mark was the one who wrote it all down for Peter. So it's really like Peter's gospel. And the words there, so there's a couple of key things in there where I think Mark kind of was around during that time, and you sort of see hints where this might have been him who's writing the gospel, who is in the story as well. So let's jump right in. Mark does not start with a genealogy. He doesn't start with the birth of Jesus. It just starts right out with the beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, the Son of God, as it is written in Isaiah the prophet, "Behold, I send a messenger out of you, who will prepare your way, the voice of one crying in the wilderness, make ready the way of the Lord." John the Baptist. We talked about John the Baptist, cousin of Jesus, wild-haired guy, lived in the wilderness for a little while, came and baptized Jesus to show an example to all of us. What we also need to do is be baptized to declare ourselves in identification with him. It's an identifier. It's like when you get a tattoo or a stamp on your hand showing you paid the price to go to Disneyland or whatever. Jesus, you're identifying yourself as a fan of a sports team when you wear their clothes. Say like the Chicago Bears. See, I'm telling you, awesome. Anyhow, we are, it's about identification. Preaching the gospel message, the gospel of God to the people. That's what John the Baptist was doing up till Jesus. And Jesus, he was preparing the way, he's making the way, letting people know there's something coming. There's someone coming. And here comes Jesus, and he starts out by calling Simon and Andrew, the brother of Simon, casting the nets as fishermen. He says, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." So, basically, come under my authority. And I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna walk you through life. And that's what God is saying to all of us. Jesus is saying to all of us. How the enemies, the enemies of God, all knew who he was. It's interesting. When he casts out demons and everything, it's like, so they're always like, "We know who you are, the Holy One of God." It's like, the enemy knew first what was going on before anybody else did. He goes into Peter's mother-in-law's house and heals her from sickness, and she gets up immediately and serves everybody. That's great. It's not, "Oh, you just need to rest." I don't know why they didn't say that. I don't know if they did or not, but it's like, "Oh, you just need to rest now. Jesus just healed you. You need to rest." But there's no resting time. It's jump back up and get back into action. Obviously, his mother-in-law was a servant. She understood the idea there. But then, after all of these things, he just does some more healing, heals many of various diseases, casts out demons, and all of that. And then verse 35 is early in the morning, while it was still dark, like 2,000 years before daylight savings time. While it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went away to a secluded place and was praying there. That's what you need to do. First and foremost, priority in your life is quiet time with Him. Not Facebook, social media sites, the latest news on Yahoo, whatever. But quiet time with Him. Find a place, secluded, just quiet. And even get a book, the Bible, or a book that talks about the Bible. Well, I wanted to point this thing out real quick. It's my Action Bible. It is a graphic novel of the Bible. The artist used to be an artist that worked for Marvel Comics, so he did all this part, all the superhero stuff, and he decided that he wanted to do the entire Bible. So this is Genesis, all the way to Revelation. Really, really, really awesome. If you want your kids to, have something fun to read, and there's pictures and little bubbles to read, it's like a giant comic strip, but it's the Bible. It's pretty cool. The Action Bible. Don't know. Sergio Carelio. There's a picture of him on the back. Pick that up. It's really good. It's a good read. Time and a place to be with God. Time alone with God. That's what we all need. Chapter 2, Mark. He come back to Capernaum several days afterward. It was heard that he was home. Many gathered there, and there was no longer room, and they brought in a paralytic. There are 4 friends of the paralytic lowered him in by ropes. And I have some notes on here from one of my pastor friends when he preached a sermon about this. There's a lot to be said for the friends of the paralytic. First of all, they were great rope holders. His 4 men were able to lower this guy on a mat. And obviously, the paralytic was late to the party, or late to show up to hear Jesus. But be a great rope holder. Be a great friend. Be someone who is going to lead others to Jesus. Bring your friends to Him. Bring your family. That's the message there. Be creative. Cooperate with others. Use the gifts that God has given you. And make the commitment to getting them to Jesus. Don't go alone. Don't go alone. But I like this here. And he forgives the paralytic's, sins. And then the Pharisees are like, you can't do that. Only God can forgive sins. I love it. It's like, he's blaspheming. Who can forgive sins but God alone? And Jesus is just like, I am God. But he says, is it easier to say I forgive your sins, or to say get up and walk? So he does both. It's like, I love it. I love this story. It's like, you don't like it that I said I forgive your sins, but wouldn't it be easier than saying get up and get walked? So he does both. It's great. It's great. And then he goes ahead and calls the tax collectors, and the Pharisees get mad at him for that, of course. Some more information about the Pharisees and the Sabbath being for man. But that's all the time we got right now. Mark chapter 2. We'll continue on in the next video.